What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Patriots podcast. I'm Sean with Ryan and JJ.
Hello.
What is up?
So I was going to start this podcast off with the Luka Doncic trade.
Oh my
But
God.
No, I'm just playing.
No, this
Maybe we'll have some time at the end, but the fucking Lakers, the way that they get this lucky, it's insane. But James is just teasing me.
I'm sorry, like you mentioned it. We have to talk about it. That's forced. There's no way you make that trade. And they got back what? How old is Anthony
Davis?
31. 25-year-old better player for a 31-year-old worse player.
Yeah,
makes no fucking sense.
Riddle me that one.
The Mavs said that they wanted Davis.
Because you have to say that.
I don't know, dude. Luka in the finals last year, I hated watching him, and I don't watch a lot of basketball. He is the biggest whiner.
And now he gets to wear a Lakers jersey. You think how much you're going to hate him now?
I know.
Stud,
it's
dude.
just
He's a stud.
He's a stud shooter. That is what I will give him.
He's out of shape.
This is
First
how
of all,
little you know about basketball.
How do you play basketball?
I don't watch him that much, but yeah, every time I watch him, it's like, this is the best. This is pretty sad state of affairs if this is the best.
I'm just asking, when you play basketball, don't you feel like you got like a crazy workout in?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's like a big dude.
How is
Not
he
in a good
fat?
way.
It's one of those things. How is that
What
even
is he
possible?
Because he
eating?
doesn't run. He doesn't run.
When he's got the ball, he does.
That's about it.
Yeah.
What is he eating after the games? Because I would burn like 1,000 calories playing a game of basketball. Right?
Yeah, and he's toting around a 260-pound ass
Yeah.
doing it. He's burning 2,000 calories every game. Plus, he's got practice. I mean, he must be eating some high-octane shit.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have brought that up. Now we're a basketball.
I know. My bad. But I was. So James was teasing me before the podcast. Are you actually excited about the Super Bowl? Yes, I'm fucking excited about the Super Bowl. Well, first of all, it's the last game. This is the last game of the NFL season. Every year, we get to this point. And I'm like, fuck, how did this happen?
Yeah,
I feel like we just started. I know it's a rematch. We're tired of seeing these teams. Whatever. Chiefs have a chance to do something nobody has ever done. Nobody's even really approached it. Nobody's gotten this far, back to 3 Super Bowls after winning 2 in a row. And it's just that classic story. This is, once again, it's the better team in terms of talent versus the better team in terms of the key people. Better head coach for the Chiefs, better quarterback for the Chiefs, more experience throughout. They have the best defensive player in the league, in my opinion, but certainly in this game, in Chris Jones, where after those 3 positions, it's like, I think that if you take those 3 guys, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, after that, the Eagles might have like the next 12 best players.
Yeah, probably.
In this game. And so it's that classic, the talented team versus the team that's got the character and the top end key position. So yes, I am excited. James, why are you not excited?
Because it's just rooting between these 2 terrible teams again that nobody wants to see win after the Patriots just had a diabolically bad season. It's I'm ready for the season to be over. Get into the off season. I was so pissed. We're probably not going to get into it much, but I was so pissed off at the Bills. They had every chance to. I mean, everyone's saying they got screwed and they got hosed, which yes, probably arguably they did. They also had the ball with 3 minutes left, 3 timeouts, and all they needed to score. They couldn't even get a fucking field goal. They couldn't get 20 yards. Never mind, drive down and score a game-winning touchdown. So that was a huge disappointment. I would have been much happier to see the Bills. I don't want the Chiefs to get 3 in a row. I don't think they deserve it. I don't think they're good enough. I think their team building is exceptional, and Andy Reid's really good, Mahomes and the whole thing. But like, do you think of this team as being the greatest team ever by winning the third in a row? Because that's what it crowns them as. And I could think of
I don't
five.
think it crowns them as that. You think
Nobody's ever done it.
It basically
Nope.
does.
Nobody has. This is they are crowning themselves as the best team in NFL history.
Yeah, I mean, if they win this game, then you go, all right,
Exactly my
part
that's
one of the
my
Patriots dynasty, part
it's a
two of the Patriots
conversation.
dynasty,
It's a
late 80s
conversation.
Niners, early 90s Cowboys, 70s Steelers, like they're right in that conversation, and
yeah.
they have the trump card. They
And
go
they've
three in a
got the
row.
trump
Ooh,
Nobody
we
card.
else
won
did
three in
that.
a row. Well, you never beat Brady in the playoffs. You
They
never.
didn't. No, there's a lot of things they haven't done, but nobody's done this, and this team is the one that's about to do it. And it's like on
I think
paper, I feel like the Eagles should win.
on paper they should win. And are they favored in this game?
I think the Chiefs are favored.
The Chiefs are favored.
I
The
gotta look
thing
it up though.
with if I mean when we look back on this 10 years from now, you go, who did Mahomes beat in those three Super Bowls if they win? Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
Those are the quarterbacks that he beat.
it's like
And
thanks.
yeah, all right.
Sick.
Well, good for you. Eli Manning's got a better Super Bowl resume than that.
Way
To
better.
me, this is the worst iteration we've seen of the Chiefs in the last few years. Like it's
That's
not.
yeah.
It's defensively, it's very good. Offensively, they're not the same team they were last year or the year before, especially the year before with Tyreek Hill
Right.
and Travis Kelsey playing great football. Rasheed Rice was a big loss for them. Um, some of the pieces there are not overwhelmingly good. Past their prime, a lot of them. DeAndre Hopkins. The running backs have been banged up. Pacheco is nothing, special. Of course, he plays super hard, but
Their offensive line is banged up. It's like, how long are they going to get away with this
right,
shit?
and they keep winning these games by the skin of their teeth, and it's been that way the whole season. Really, it's not that impressive. Mahomes had a down year, really, for Mahomes, big time.
Yeah,
Not even
definitely.
close to stiffing the MVP race, which usually he's, right there. But there's something to be said, and I've been saying it all year for teams that find a way to win when the pieces are stacked against them. A little bit of luck, some calls here and there. You gotta at the end of the day tip your hat. You keep getting them. So the Eagles, on the other hand, just a complete team. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a special quarterback, but they have pieces everywhere. One
They're
of the best
stacked.
offensive lines in the league, the best running back in the league, two probably one of the best tandems of wide receivers in the league. Not much
Yeah,
else after that. Decent secondary. Quinyon Mitchell is playing his ass off. Cooper DeJean's playing well. Reed
both
Blankenship.
rookies.
I mean, they've got some guys back there that play hard. Um, Bond, the linebacker, Nolan Smith. The defensive line is where they're really, really special. Jordan Davis,
Jordan Davis, Jalen
Jordan Davis.
Carter.
Yeah,
I mean, look at
Jalen
these
Carter.
names. Bryce Huff,
Josh
Josh
Sweat.
Sweat, Nolan Smith.
How the fuck did they get all those guys? Like it
So
just
they.
speaks to the GM job that Howie Roseman's done.
Yeah,
It's I was talking to
I
you
mean,
guys before the podcast. I do probably three mock drafts a day. I watch videos on mock drafts all day. When you get to the Eagles, it's like every position group is good.
yeah.
So one of these scenarios where you got the quarterback on one side and a really good defense, and then just everywhere on the other side, but not really specifically the quarterback. So interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Eagles' strengths really play well to the Chiefs' inadequacies, especially as you said, their defensive line is just fucking stacked. And as Sean has pointed out, every fucking week for what, like 4 or 5 weeks, I feel, when is there Joe Tooney at left tackle and whoever the hell's playing left guard going to finally bite him in the face? Because those players are looked out of position against the Bills, too. Now, they held up against the Bills and the Texans, but definitely were getting their asses kicked all game. And it never, there was a sack here, a sack there, but it was never really that big play or that big mistake you expected them to make when, the other team, the opposition needed it. And then if you look too, one of the biggest faults I think last week for the Bills was not running the ball more and not giving the ball more to what's his name over there at running
James
back? It was
Cook.
James Cook.
unbelievable. James
He
Cook.
he disappeared in the fourth quarter.
He didn't get a touch after 9 minutes.
It's crazy.
And he was almost all their offensive production up to that point. Not all of it, but he was a big part of it. So what do the Eagles have? They have Saquon, who I don't think any team has really shut down this year. When you look at the stats of it,
He ran for 2,000 yards in 16 games.
Ran rampant on everybody. And the Chiefs' pass defense is incredible, as we were talking about, but their run defense looks like it has some issues. So I just hope they give it to Saquon 25 times and he fucking lights him up. As much as I don't want to root for the Eagles, that's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. Yeah, let me read you some stats. The Chiefs, let's start with the Eagles. I have the page open. Chiefs offense is, the Eagles number 8 offense, 29th in passing, number 2 in rushing. So very heavily skewed towards the rushing offense. Eagles defense, number 1 in the league.
Did you say 29th passing?
29th in passing, yeah, in terms of yardage. Eagles defense, number 1 in the league, number 1 against the pass, number 10 against the rush. They're stifling defense. Vic Fangio, they had a slow start to the year. They were trying to get used to stuff, see where people fit, get those rookies up to speed. They were 2-2 to start the season. They've won 14. They won 14 regular season or 14 games since then. I'm losing track, but the only game they lost was to the Commanders in like November, December, which that loss looks a lot better now than it probably did at the time.
Yeah, it does. Definitely.
Yeah. And then the Chiefs, number 16 in offense, balance between pass and run, and number 9 on defense, also balance between pass and run. The thing the Chiefs do great, situational football. Mm-hmm. They convert 49% of their third downs. Every time you're watching that team, you expect them to convert a third down.
Yeah.
Every single time you're stunned. I'm stunned when they don't convert the third down, especially in a critical situation. If they're up by 10 points, maybe they don't convert it.
Right.
But if they are like within a score, 1-score game, I feel like they're converting every single time they get into scoring position.
Yeah.
They got a great kicker. Both these teams have good kickers. I think Elliott had a bit more of a struggle this year than he has in years past, but Butker looks healthy. He looks good. God, I saw two of the best defensive coordinators in the league in this game.
Stacked. I saw some stat where Mahomes is the only quarterback. It's basically in the playoffs when you're trailing by a score and have the ball with a certain amount of time left or whatever, if you win the game. So Brady is, I don't know, I think somewhere around 5. Him and Breeze are somewhere around 500.
You can't even blame that on the cat, can you?
No, that was all me. They're somewhere around 500. And, there's a bunch of other quarterbacks in there, and nobody's really beaming over 500, except Mahomes is like 7 of 7. And then you think, oh, well, Brady beat him. Yeah, Brady did beat him. But when he had the ball with no time left, he was able to drive down and score.
Yeah.
So
Mahomes
was. So every time he basically has the ball and needs to score in the fourth quarter, he's done it every time, which is, it's like odds got to go against you at some point.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are favored by 1 in this game. Is that what I'm saying?
I think that makes sense.
1.5. Chiefs favored by 1.5. The money line's 119 to the Chiefs. Over under is 48.5. What do you guys think? What are you picking?
Under, definitely under, no doubt under.
Yeah, the Super Bowl usually goes under historically, doesn't it?
My head says the Chiefs.
Good, pick them. Maybe we should all just pick the Chiefs so they lose.
Well, I'm picking the Chiefs, and I picked them before the season, but I want the Eagles to win, unfortunately, even though their fans are the most obnoxious people in the world. One thing I'm looking at here that's really kind of troubling for the Eagles is their strength of schedule played this year. I know they're great on defense. Overall, they're very good. 30th strength of schedule.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that possible? The division wasn't
NFC
that
South.
NFC East, they were awful this year.
Awful. Yeah. Giants and Cowboys.
But the
Commanders
are one of the top teams.
Cowboys are picking the top 10.
I guess so.
The
Oh,
run
that's a
the
little
run
surprising.
percentage for the Eagles is way higher too. So that's the thing. The Eagles are going to want to run the ball and set up play action. Will that work? Trent McDuffie versus I would think AJ Brown, even though Trent McDuffie's a smaller guy.
You'd think, yeah.
That's a fun matchup to watch. My heart. I can't believe I'm saying this. I guess I want the Eagles to win, but I think the Chiefs are going to win this based on quarterback play, coaching, and defense. I think their defense is well situated to play against the Eagles' offense.
Yeah, and you said it
Yeah.
that the Eagles are going to want to run the ball. Everybody in the world knows that. Steve Spagnuolo knows that. He's going to do everything in his power to take that away. At least on first down, try to get it. He's going to try to get you to drop back on 2nd and 9.
Yeah.
Do a drop back pass game with Jalen Hurts, and he's going to send exotic blitzes. He's going to get negative plays like 1 out of 2 times. He's going to get a negative play. Maybe he gives up 12 yards and you get a first down, and then he does it again the next set of downs, gets the negative play, and now you're in 3rd and 15 with Jalen Hurts playing drop back with Chris Jones on the other side, and you're
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah. Now, I got a question. This is a little off topic, but since you mentioned Spagnolo, I am curious. In that last play of the Bills game, where they were showing heavy pressure, and it was Steve Spagnuolo. Am I crazy to know that he was sending a crazy blitz? I mean, I
Oh,
felt
yeah,
like
no.
everybody in the
Everybody knew
world
that.
knew that except for the Bills.
And it's not going to be what you expect. They're going to
Yes,
walk up both middle linebackers and then they're going to blitz a cornerback,
and
or they're
that's
going
what
to
they
walk
did.
up the corner and they're going to blitz a safety. Like
Right.
it's never what it looks like,
Yes,
but they're
and
always bringing pressure.
he's especially on like a third or fourth down, got to have it play.
Yes.
Spagnolo is bringing pressure, and the Bills lined up that play and did nothing. No
Yeah.
adjustment, no extra blockers. They weren't like, oh, hot route for the fucking guy. I can see the cornerback coming. It's like they're gonna send extra guys here. I hope you know that. And they didn't do anything. So another thing that pissed me off about the Bills. But anyways, I'm gonna pick the Eagles. I think besides Ryan's mention of the one of the worst strength of schedules, which I didn't know and isn't a great stat to help the Eagles case, but I just think their talent, their team is built so well. I feel like I said earlier, their strengths, that defensive line, you would think would have its way with the Chiefs. It's really, a lot of these Super Bowls when you look back, who was winning, it's who won in the trenches, essentially. Whoever won in the trenches kind of won the game. And we saw that in the Bills game last week. We saw that in the Eagles game versus Washington last week. It's whoever was dominating the line of scrimmage really takes the game. And I believe, besides Chris Jones, they both have great talent on both sides. But, the Eagles' offensive line is insane. When you look at who they have on that team from left to right, it is just an impressive group. Top guys at every position, top center, top right tackle. The other three positions are all probably top 5 or top 10 at their positions. The Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat, that whole defensive front seven is just insane. I know they're missing a couple guys, but I like to think that they'd be able to give that offensive line some trouble. And yes, everybody in the world knows that the Eagles are going to run the ball, but no one has been able to stop it worth a damn. So I know Spagnuolo is a great defensive coordinator. He's arguably the best in the league at that spot. But what the hell is he going to be able to do? Is he, he's going to load the box? Okay, well, can I know that the Eagles, like you said, they're ranked 29th in the league this year in passing. It's because they really didn't need to pass. And Saquon Barkley's running for 150 yards every game.
Yeah.
Why are you going to throw the damn ball?
Yep. Good point.
You know what I mean? Now, AJ Brown really hasn't come alive in the whole playoffs. Devonta Smith has been playing well. Dallas Goedert, he's a good tight end.
Something great.
They have, it's like you can't just load the box against them. I don't know how you are going to do that. That's what I don't understand. I'm waiting to see what they do. And I would love, I don't know which player it is, but take Kenyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean. I don't know who's longer, who has more length, and put them on frickin' Travis Kelce. And don't worry or at
Teams will
least
never do that. They're
at
not going to
least
do
on
that.
third down. I know. I don't know
He's
why.
not.
I
He's
don't.
not fast like he used to be. Like
But
where you
he's a
would.
receiver. He's not a tight end. You can't put a
You got to
linebacker
put
on
a
him.
good safety on him. That's the key.
Which
You
they
know.
have some good safeties, but when you get like a little like think about it like this, like when you got the cornerback who knows how to play the ball, like that's their job. When they're playing against someone slow, I mean, obviously Travis Kelsey is incredible at getting position and positioning his body to catch the ball. But when you have this like a guy on him that's got way more energy, way faster, and way more athletic, usually those guys win a lot of those matchups because you can't really put yourself in position against them because they're too much,
Yeah.
they're quicker than you,
I
you
think if you're
know?
gonna go that route, you do like a CJ Gardner Johnson, um, who has really had a great year.
The safety, right?
Yeah, one of the
Yeah.
better coverage safeties too
They
in the
need to
league.
figure that out. I don't know who it is on that defense. I don't know the Eagles that well, but they need a legit cover guy on him, manned up the whole game. Don't put a freaking linebacker on him and let him roast them or just wide open in the zone. What do the Eagles usually play? Do they man up? I would assume with this defense.
They play a lot of zone.
They do play a lot of zone. Ugh,
Yeah,
Mahomes just
it's a
rips the
mixture
zone apart. I would
Travis
switch it
Kelsey
up.
really gets his yards
on zone.
when plays break down.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
You
just
know,
wide open. He knows how to find that soft spot. So
exactly.
and
And
I
bring
don't
him a
somehow
lot.
know.
you can't catch them.
I don't know if teams are going. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to have that kind of time with the state of their offensive line and the pass rush of the
Right.
Eagles.
You would think.
So that would be a good selling point if you were going to go in the Eagles direction.
Yeah. I'd like to point out key players, linebackers for the Eagles, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, both good athletes, really exceptional athletes for the linebacker position. Not huge, not big run thumpers. That's what the defensive line's supposed to
Kobe
take care
Dean's
of.
out. I don't think he's playing.
Ah, shit. All right. Well, Zach Bond then. Zach Bond played a lot of special teams. He's used to making open field tackles. Mahomes does so much damage, and
What a run.
not even just in terms of the yardage he gets, but the morale crushing nature of him
Yeah.
running for third downs and fourth downs. Uh, so Zach Bond's gonna have his hands full if he's gonna be tasked with chasing down Mahomes in the open field and getting him on the ground.
Yeah.
Zach,
And then
go ahead.
and then I was just gonna flip to the other side where James was talking about if the Chiefs load the box, throw it up to AJ Brown. I know they haven't thrown him the ball that much in the postseason, but when they have, it's been successful. Even
Yeah.
just down the left sideline to ice the game in the first playoff matchup, they just chucked it up there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
No big deal. One-on-one coverage, just throw it up to him. You have you have one of the best outside threats in the NFL. There's really nobody that's going to be able to defend him. And I know you mentioned Trent McDuffie. He's an exceptional cover guy. He's like 25 pounds lighter, 2 inches shorter than AJ Brown.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a weird one because it's the off-ball linebackers in this game are so good. You look at Bolton and Chenal,
Yeah.
and
They're
then
beasts.
Bond and Dean. You say is out. The Eagles have three of the top 13 rated off-ball linebackers from PFF. And granted, Oren Burks has only played 322 snaps. Zach Bonds played 1150. That's incredible. And Zach Bonds got a 91.2 cover grade.
It's pretty good. Don't put him on
That's
Kelsey.
insane. That's
Don't put
the
him on
highest in
Kelsey.
the league
No.
by a by a long shot.
Because you know that these freaking analysts up there in Philly are going to say, well, we have the best coverage linebacker in the league. Let's put him on Kelsey. It's like, no,
It's a good
don't.
matchup. It's a really
No.
good matchup.
Yeah. Well, who's going to win it? Kelsey's going to win that matchup. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like everywhere.
Oh, yeah. No. When you look at these teams, I mean, as much as I don't like the Chiefs or the Eagles, they are built very well. They're both built in the trenches. They're built, like traditional teams, the way Bill Belichick used to like to build his teams and all these successful franchises. I mean, who else was built better? You could argue maybe Detroit, Buffalo, but
I
those
think
guys,
Detroit's still in the process of building.
they didn't
You
make
know,
it. Yeah. No, I know.
I think
It's
they're still young in the process. San Francisco is aging out a little bit. They've the injuries, and Baltimore is the one that I would put in this group with
Baltimore. That's a good
team
one.
building.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
And they still have a couple holes, but here's another one: the tush push versus the Chiefs tush push killer.
Yes.
But what do you
Yes.
do to defend it? You can't jump the line. There's
I
got
know,
to be
but
some kind of rule put in
they
place.
stopped the
to-
freaking Bills. How many plays last week? I couldn't
A
believe the
couple
Bills kept
times.
going to it.
Yeah. A bunch of times they stopped Josh Allen on it.
And the Bills just kept doing it. They're like, you know what, we're gonna do again on a fourth down after we barely got it every time. Like, we're gonna do it again. It's like,
well,
you have Josh
my thing
Allen
with that whole thing was
run
like,
outside the tackle. For Christ's sake, a cornerback can't tackle him for a yard loss.
if someone jumps the
Couldn't
line
do
and
it.
clears the line, why is that not allowed?
You're
You
not
know,
allowed to launch yourself over the line.
No, you can. You can't do it
You
if it
can't
was.
step on someone.
You can't, and it was becoming an issue because it was offsides when they kept doing it. Well, whoever it was last week, they kept
Oh,
jumping
and they
offsides.
mentioned that they would award points, which I've never
Yeah,
heard before.
can't
I
do
mean, that
that.
was
You can't award
ridiculous.
points. That's
That's what
insane.
the ref said. The ref said that
You don't remember
if he
that?
becomes egregious, that they would award
The
points.
Washington game.
You can't have that.
Basically, they said if you continue to screw around, basically, I don't know if who were they were talking. They were going to
It
award
was
the
the
Eagles
Bills. It
points.
was the Bills and
No, that was the Eagles game. It was the Eagles Washington game, goal line.
What? That's insane. How could you award points? That's
Washington
nuts.
kept.
they said they could award points, and I was like, I've never heard that.
I've never heard that rule either. It was
I
hockey
didn't know
league.
they had that authority.
He said because of this behavior, if this continues, we will award points. And the radio was 98.5 was shitting
And
all
it
over
checks
him,
out
like,
in the rule book,
your
but it's just
behavior?
like,
Wow.
what are you
Your
talking
behavior.
about?
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
No,
Must be
they
quite
can't do it.
apparent.
Well, essentially, it's because Washington, I think kept jumping off sides because they couldn't stop the tush push. So they were trying to get some kind of edge, and they
Yeah.
had 3 fouls in a row or something.
Luvu was the one that
Oh, Frankie
bumped the
Louvu.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
heck
it
of a
was.
player, man.
I thought he had a great game. He was the only one making an impact on that defense.
That defense needs a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Wow. So, James, are you feeling better about this game now? You feeling a
No.
little more amped? No, not at all. Not at all.
If the
Just get
Chiefs
it over
win, I'll
with.
be happy. Or if the Chiefs lose, I'm sorry. Well, I'll be happy.
That was a Freudian slip. If I've
It
ever
was,
heard
right?
one.
I mean, if the Chiefs win, it's just all we're gonna hear about for the next 10 years, basically for the rest of our lives. No one's gonna talk about the Patriots anymore.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Chiefs three-peat. That's it.
What are the odds that Tom Brady comes out of retirement to play for the Raiders?
I was thinking that he'll be like, fuck this, I can do this.
Yeah, he's like, let's fucking go.
He'd probably be still nasty, honestly. It's just taking the hits. But here's the thing. It's like I heard someone talking today, one of the reporters talking like, it's very similar to the '07 Patriots where they have everything. They have so much to lose and there's so much on them and they're on the door of history. It's like, can they do it?
We're talking
And
about the Chiefs.
The
Yes.
Chiefs. So the Chiefs, I'm comparing them to the '07 Patriots because it's like the '07 Patriots, they were going for the undefeated record. No one ever did, it hadn't been done in 30 some odd years or 40 years, whatever it was. It hasn't been even close. No one's even touched it since. And they were a wagon. Like the Giants did match besides the front four of the Giants defensive line. Nobody else on that team could hold a candle to that Patriots team. And the Patriots couldn't do it. It was too much for them to do. And it's like the Chiefs aren't even that highly favored. They're not even that much of a wagon. They're just everyone. It's just become like, oh, the Chiefs are just going to win because it's the Chiefs. They always just find a way type of thing. Is it too much for them?
That's a question. We're gonna find out. That's pretty much where I landed. Was I've been predicting that the Chiefs have to come back to reality at some point. You can't squeak it out every single week. There's got to be a reality check, but it hasn't happened. So I
Hasn't
came around.
happened.
All right, I got to see it before I believe it.
Right.
It's been a weird one. So I picked the Chiefs. I'm going to go 27-20. What are you guys picking?
I was going to go 24-21.
Eagles.
Chiefs?
Chiefs, yeah.
We go Eagles. It's got to be close. It's going to be within like 3 or 4 by the end of the game.
I don't know. I mean, it could go the way that the Chiefs Buccaneers Super Bowl went, where I think they won like 30-9.
Who did? The Bucks did.
The Bucks did, yeah. It could go that way. One thing I was thinking,
That's right,
and sorry
I
to
forgot.
sidetrack right before your pick gets made, but the Super Bowl the Chiefs lost against the Buccaneers, they were outmatched on those offensive and defensive lines. Exactly the point that you were trying to make, James.
Right.
That's when they lost, when they had deficits at both of those position groups compared
There
to
you
the
go.
opposition, which is where they find themselves in this game.
They lost 30 to
Conti-
9 in that Super Bowl.
It was something like that, 27-9. It was, I think they only scored
Wow.
9 points.
All right. I'm going to go Eagles 28, Chiefs 27. 28 to
Wow. Okay.
27.
Talk about tight.
Wow.
31-9 is what the Bucks won by.
31 to 9, Mahomes lost to Brady.
Yeah.
Brady,
Yeah.
I mean, it is funny. Everyone's talking about, oh, if Mahomes wins this, he's better than Brady. I mean, Brady's kicked the crap out of him in the two head to heads.
Yep.
Really, in
I
all
mean,
the head to
didn't
heads.
kick the crap out of them in the AFC
Not
Championship
in the
game that
AFC,
went to
but
overtime.
Was that
that
the
was
game
at
that
home
no, that was the game that
for the Chiefs. That was Pat Mahomes at
was
home.
that the one Nikhil Harry didn't step out of bounds?
No, that was a
That was a
regular
regular
season
Regular
game.
season
game.
game. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. This was the D Ford game where he jumped off
Jumped off
sides
sides and we
when
won.
the interception
Oh
happened.
my god, dude. What
Yeah,
a fucking
exactly.
idiot. What an idiot.
Yeah, so dumb. All right, Super Bowl. It's gonna happen. Other stuff going on with the Patriots coaching staff continuing to get filled out just this week. Uh, we hired a number of people since we last got on here. Doug Marrone, former head coach, brought on board to coach the offensive line. Ben McAdoo sticks with the team and is actually going to move over to defense, oddly enough. Thomas Brown, who is the
McAdoo.
interim head coach for the Bears, excuse me, this season. Guy I remember playing college ball. Like, oh yeah, it's Thomas Brown. I know Thomas Brown.
Yeah.
He's coaching now. Oh, look at that. Well, now he's with the Pats, coaching tight ends and passing game coordinator. And then just today, Todd Downing got added as the wide receivers coach. He was the offensive coordinator for the Jets this past year. Imagine having that job.
What's
Imagine
the
what a
story on him?
headache
What
that
did
would have
he
been.
do? What did he do?
All right, so we were talking about this before the podcast. I saw his name and picture, and I was like, why do I know a wide receivers coach? And it turns out he was on Vrabel's staff in Tennessee, and he got after an away game, they took the flight home, and then he drove home after the flight at like 7 in the morning, gets a DUI.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
remember his
That's
name.
Rough
right.
look.
And we talk shit about him on this podcast saying, how could you do that? Like, why don't you just take a fucking Uber?
Yeah.
Now
At
he's
least
our
it was
wide
after a
receivers
win.
coach.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what got his name in the news and out there. A couple years ago, people make mistakes. I'm all about second chances. He was offense coordinator with the Titans and then again with the Jets. So now he's taking a step back to coach wide receivers, try to build up his career capital under Vrabel's leadership again. It's probably a good hire. I don't know. I
He's been
mean, you
coaching
don't
a
have a
long
lot to work
time.
with.
He's been
No.
coaching a long time. He's done some stints as a QB coach, quality control coach, on the defensive side of the ball a little bit. Offensive coordinator with the Raiders, former tight ends coach with the Vikings and the Titans. Offensive coordinator with the Titans, passing game. I mean,
Retread.
this guy
He's like 40.
must know his football because he keeps getting jobs.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm all for doing something different with this wide receiver coaching. You
I mean,
know,
they need something different.
they need an injection somewhere, and it's been so bad here with the development that I'm happy just to do something a little bit different.
Besides, though, Booty and Demario Douglas, who were both 6 rounders in the 2022 draft, which is Bill, or was it 2023? It's Bill Belichick's, I think it was 2023. Bill Belichick's last draft. He couldn't draft a receiver his entire career. He hits 2 in the 6th round on his last year.
Incredible.
What are
right?
the odds?
Yeah.
And they were probably 2 of the most pissed off players under Mal. Honestly,
I always think back to Malcolm Mitchell and kind of the raw shake that he got with
yeah, he got
injury.
screwed.
He was going to be a player, man.
He was good. He was nasty. That was that 2014. He was really good in that playoff run.
2016.
The 2016 run.
It was against the
Yeah.
Falcons. He made some big catches in that Super Bowl. It reminds me of Brian Stork also. 2014 draft pick, won a Super Bowl out of the league a year afterwards with the neck injury.
Yeah,
we've had some
injury.
success at wide receiver as far as development. You look at Edelman and Jacoby Myers, and I thought Mitchell was going to be one of those guys. You know, of course we've struck out in a lot of guys, and
Yeah,
even going back to Chad Jackson and
Oh God.
I mean Aaron Dobson. what the fuck? And N'Keal
Yeah.
Harry. Now it's Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, and hey, we just took these guys. I'm not giving up after one season, so we
Not
need.
looking good though. It's not looking good for those two, especially. I mean, just think of it from a, we have to get super into this, but just from a roster standpoint, it's like you're going to bring in a free agent or a trade receiver. At least one, maybe two. You might draft a guy right there. If you add two or three receivers to this roster, that means
Someone's
one,
getting
if
cut.
not both of them, are getting out of here.
See, here's the thing
Probably just Baker, but
when you draft a wide receiver for this team, he's got to be a needle mover. Like, there's no point in drafting day three wide receiver on this team. Like, we have plenty
no,
of
right.
those,
That's true. Yeah.
So if you don't go after someone in free agency or early in this draft process, then I don't really think it does anything,
Yeah.
So
They need pros. They need real pros in the room. I would love, like, I don't know if he's super popular among you guys, but Chris Godwin, I know he gets injured all the time, but he's just like a pro's pro. Comes in, he crushes it when he's on the field. Yeah, he gets injured, but like he's a good guy to be like, okay, that's how to play this position. That's the right thing to do. Leading to Cooper Cup. I don't know what you guys think about him, but he's on the trade block. I don't know. Third, fourth round pick. If that's the asking price, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I don't know what you guys think.
I'd do it too. The thing that's going to make him hard to trade is that contract, and the thing that we've got in spades is cap space. So it doesn't
Tons
really
of
matter.
money.
So yeah, bring your big contract. We'll take it.
well, I heard today
I just
that
want to lower the asset.
the Rams would eat some of that money. Yeah,
Ooh,
I would bring Cooper Cup in for a fourth fourth round pick or next year's third or something like that. I wouldn't give a third this year. Um, I think he's still a
I'd
really
probably
good
give a
player.
third this year, but that would be it. I mean, we do have a high third pick, but that's debatable.
With the Judon pick, maybe. Um,
Right.
I think still you put all your eggs in the T. Higgins basket. You throw the fucking world at him. You overpay. You give $30 million a year over 4 years, 120 million. That's the kind of territory that you need to be in. You look at Drake May in the Pro Bowl
Yeah, he
throwing
was
a Jamar Chase, and I mean,
throwing dimes, right?
give this fucking guy a wide receiver. He can handle it. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
there you
The
go.
other, the other thing is the Patriots are fielding calls, somewhat interested in moving on from Joe Milton for a third or better.
Ooh.
What's the rush?
I know. I don't see the rush on that. I mean, if you don't have to get another quarterback, you're set there and the guy is nothing in a good backup at that.
I could take a
He's
seventh
costing
round
you
pick or sixth
zippo.
round pick and trade and one up in a year and get a third round pick
Yeah,
in
it's
this
not
draft.
bad, but it's also in a
It's
very important position.
Yeah, it's nice to have some insurance there. We already saw Drake get bumped out of the game a couple times
That's
this
true.
season.
That's true.
I'd wait. I'd wait. I feel like you have enough draft capital, you have enough money where, like, just because you have more picks too doesn't mean shit,
Well,
especially from, this front office drafting. What was it, the 2021 or 2022 draft where we drafted Cole Strange? We
well,
had
what
10
if
picks.
I
We
don't
had
know.
10 picks in that draft. We had all the picks we could need. And we come away with Cole Strange and Marcus Jones and everybody else, all other 8 picks off the team.
I'm
It's 3 years ago.
I'm kind of done with
So
that whole philosophy of thinking where
I mean, I'm just piling picks. You
I
need to hit
I would
on them.
say
It's not how
that
many
this
you have.
I would say that this draft is lackluster for quarterback. If you could get a third or a second for Joe Milton,
I mean, a
and
second
then what
is
if he regresses to what we saw at Tennessee where he was absolutely atrocious? Throwing the ball to who the fuck knows. Yeah, he's talented. Everybody can see that.
Yeah.
But what if you
Yeah, it'd
get
be
the
interesting.
regression and then you miss out on the third round pick? You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I feel like at this point it's better to have the insurance policy if he is a good player. If they
right.
know that was just a flash in the
Bullshit.
pan and
Yeah.
that the Bills were purposefully playing poorly, which they were.
Well, he's playing against second
Uh
and third stringers in that game.
yeah, then
And
if
we're
if you
giving
can
him
get a
all the credit in the world. And yeah, there
top
were
of the third round.
flashes. of athleticism and throw power that are like ridiculous, you know? So
Let me ask you a
maybe
different question. Based on this front office, let's just put Elliot Wolf up there and say he was the one that drafted all the players last year and he's still there with this team. Based on the fact that they drafted Drake May, who looks like a franchise quarterback, and Joe Milton, who might be an actual asset, do they just draft another quarterback?
yes.
Yeah, it's like you
Yes.
guys
Yes,
look like
he can actually evaluate quarterback.
It
yeah.
seems like, yeah, got a
Go
fair
out and
point.
get a Will Howard late, you know, if that's the case, you
Maybe
know?
somebody that you think is going to be good.
I mean,
Uh,
if they can get something, if they can get a second for Joe Milton right now,
I think a second you do it.
I think you'd have to
A
do it.
third
And
is where it gets to be one of these.
Would
you're
not
right.
bat an eye at a second round pick.
Second, I
Third round
wouldn't
pick I
either.
would think about and I would probably take.
But also, I'd wait till the draft. I mean, if these quarterbacks don't take that nice February healthy leap from not being top 10 to number 1 and 2, and it ends up being like the Kenny Pickett draft where he goes somewhere in 17. Now you got some really desperate quarterback needy teams, and you get a high number 2 second round pick. I would do it. That's where I would say,
One thing about this is the
go
timing of
for
it,
it.
especially if you're dealing with the Giants that want a quarterback and you were to trade them Joe Milton. If you don't do it, if you do it before the draft or during the draft, then they won't take a quarterback
It has to be during the
at number
draft. I think
three.
that's you. I wouldn't do it before or after. I would do it during the draft. That's when you get the
So then they're taking Travis Hunter or
See,
Abdul
this
Carter.
is yeah, what Ryan's getting at is that now instead of the
oh
Giants at number
oh
three
right.
taking a
It works against
quarterback
you.
works against you for who you might want at number four.
Right. Well, there you go.
Yep. All these things to consider. Good thing we got the off season coming up starting Monday.
I
Monday,
know, right?
Monday.
Oh, I can't fucking wait, dude.
Yeah.
This is
I
Ryan's
cannot
time of
wait.
year.
This is my favorite time. It's Christmas. It's Christmas in March, right? March is when free agency opens.
Yep.
Yeah, first week of March. Yeah.
Yeah. What a crazy
I
time
fucking love it, dude.
that time of
Open my
day is.
presents, get a fucking stud.
That's what we
Oh, I
want
love
this
it.
year. All right, so we covered the Super Bowl, Pat's coaching staff. Did you want to talk more about Luka Doncic?
No,
No.
No,
no,
I'm good.
no, no. The defensive assistance role, linebackers coach, secondary coaches have not been announced yet, and I don't know where they go with these roles, but they need to start filling these.
Do you think
Defensive
it's
line, outside linebacker, inside linebacker, cornerback, and safety, all vacant. The other thing was special teams. We have not retained the services of Matthew Slater. Slater.
It's a
What do you
little
guys make of
surprising.
that?
Well, no, Dante Hightower's still there, so he's got to be one of the linebackers.
oh, I thought Hightower was out too.
I heard we retained him,
Oh,
but I
good.
could be wrong. I heard he was
Good.
on the short list of staying.
The
The
thing
short
is,
list. Okay.
as a fan, you have no idea who's a good position coach most of the time. And I'm just reacting to, yeah, I like Dante Hightower as a player. Like, yeah, let's keep him on the staff. Same thing with Troy Brown. I just love
Yeah,
seeing Troy Brown on the sideline.
yeah,
It's
he didn't
really
do
hard to
much for our
evaluate as a
receivers.
fan. You have to be in the building. Even as
Yeah,
an analyst, these guys don't know. You know, all you can do is look at track record, you
yeah,
know,
and go
from
on
the,
what people are saying.
yeah, and go on like, oh,
Hearsay.
this guy from the league is highly regarded. You know, you hear it from so many sources, then you,
Bert Breer reports that Dante Hightower did a good job. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I
yeah,
guess he did.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I guess he's a good
Like,
coach.
There we
It's
go. All
like,
right.
it's hard. It's hard to evaluate. But for me, what I like to base it on is track record. You know, you can't have guys coming back as wide receivers coach for years and years when there's no fucking production, no development, you know.
yep,
So
Yeah.
exactly. The defensive side, I wonder if it's because Terrell Williams is a first-time defensive coordinator and it's taken him a minute to figure out what he exactly he wants on his staff. I'm most interested defensive line coach. The fact that Terrell Williams comes in with a bevy of experience at
Yeah.
defensive line gives me some more confidence about that. And then, there's still two teams playing the Eagles and Chiefs that are unable to have their coaches hired out.
Right.
There's
You
a
could try and
potential
steal
that
someone.
that
Yeah,
you're looking at those two staffs for some of your candidates.
yeah, yeah. I agree. You guys watch any Senior Bowl or Shrine Bowl? Nada.
Totally missed the whole thing.
The
For
whole
you.
thing. Holy shit.
It's Ryan's reporting.
I watched every practice, every snap of the Senior Bowl. I fucking love that shit, dude. I mean, you're these are studs, you know?
Give us
You
a
could
top
find a
offensive
stud.
and give us a top offensive and defensive player and a sleeper.
Top offensive player. God, out of the Senior Bowl, I thought that. I mean, it's no surprise. Gray Zabel was very good. Josh Connerly was good too, but he had one bad snap against Mike Green out of Marshall,
What
the
positions
edge.
are these guys?
Um, Gray Zabel is probably going. He's a tackle for North Dakota State. That's probably going to transition to either guard or center. I think he's probably going to be an elite center.
Okay.
Late first round, early second round pick. Who else did I mention there?
Possibly a Patriot. We could use
Possibly
a
a
center.
Patriot. Mike Green, another one. He only did the first 2 days of practice, and then he tapped out because he had already kind of proven his point. He was fucking unbelievable. He measured in with short arms, but the way he plays, the athleticism, the
He's a guard.
explosiveness,
He's a guard.
he's an
Edge player. Okay.
edge player. Oh, he's gonna be really good. I thought Azariah Thomas, the corner from Florida State, probably moved himself firmly into early second round, late first round territory. I mean, we're gonna see the combines from a lot of these guys too. Jackson Dart is being talked about as a quarterback 3,
Hmm.
maybe second round, maybe for a desperate team, maybe second round. I was disappointed with Fannin from Bowling Green, the tight end. I thought he was going to be better because he's just like the focal point of the Bowling Green offense. I thought he was going to be better. He looked a little bit lackluster. Tez Johnson, the wide receiver out of Oregon, is an absolute problem. The problem is with him, he weighs 160 pounds, soaking wet.
Oh,
That's
God.
okay.
Yeah.
That
So, like,
that works now in the current NFL rules.
it doesn't work until round 3 for me. You know, I'm not
No, for
drafting a
sure.
guy,
Yeah.
Jack Besh, wide receiver out of TCU, I thought was excellent. Um,
They have good wide receiver production over there. The Frogs, the
his
Horned Frogs.
brother was one of the heroes of, he got killed in that New Orleans terrorist
Oh,
attack. Tiger Besh, he got killed. So,
damn.
Josh Connerly, left tackle. They put him a little bit at right tackle, and that's where he got blown up by Mike Green. Other than that one snap, I thought he was really consistent. Thought he was a pretty good player. Um, my my favorite player coming out of this practices was Walter Nolan. I think he's an absolute stud. He's an interior defensive lineman from Ole Miss, one of the top ranked players coming out of high school a couple years ago. He's a run defender and it has an insane upside as a pass defender, as a pass rusher. I think he could go top 12 in the
Ooh,
draft.
Wow. All right.
Walter. Go
Walter Nolan.
Walter.
He's
Some
my favorite
analysis
player
right
in this
there.
draft. Honestly, if I don't know, I think the Patriots have basically no chance of getting him because of the
So
other
we're not going to
needs.
take him at 4.
No. No. But my God, dude, like you're talking about upside, Walter Nolan is it.
Damn, nice.
Market.
All right. We'll mark it down. Anything else to cover? Wrap up?
We
Super
didn't
Bowl.
mention Miles Garrett being on the trade block, but that doesn't. We all kind of agree he's probably not coming here.
He's, in fact, definitely not coming here.
Why? Why would he come here? He wants to get away from a losing environment.
I know. So he comes
I
to
mean,
the.
we are not
Well,
going to do anything crazy this year,
we got one more win than the Browns. It's got to count for something.
barring a ridiculous free agency class. and just like Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter somehow falling to us, and then even more, we need even more help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
He doesn't
we
I
want to
have too
just
come
many
here.
needs.
don't see him coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
And for
time
what? And what's the asking price? So like number
also,
4? You're
yeah.
not getting number 4 for
Yeah, and we've got a 22-year-old quarterback and he's 30. The time windows don't match up, right?
Yeah.
right.
He's got 3 years of his prime left, and we're probably not into Drake May's prime for another 3 years.
San Francisco, right?
Send him to San Fran. Yeah.
Number 11
I can
for
see him
Miles
going to like
Garrett
a
on the other side of
Miami,
Bosa.
a Dallas, one of these teams that should be good or could be good.
Can you imagine how crazy that would be? Bosa and Garrett on the same defensive
Yeah,
line.
that'd be ridiculous. I mean, they've been trying to do that, but they just got someone. What was it, a year or two ago? That was supposed to
Hargrave.
Hargrave, and
They
that didn't
signed
really work
Hargrave
He's
for
an
out.
big money.
interior.
Yeah, it didn't work.
He's interior though.
Yeah. Yeah, they were just trying to stack that defensive line. They're always trying
Yeah,
to stack it.
I
The
just think
Niners are. Maybe they'll be in the market for Walter Nolan.
yeah.
they might be.
They definitely might
If they
be.
don't go tackle with whoever's there, maybe Kelvin Banks or Josh Simmons, I could see them doubling down and taking an edge.
They love that D line.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Uh, hopefully the Chiefs lose this one. Hopefully we don't have to listen to that talk forever.
Oh
Defend our
God,
boy
it'll
Brady.
be forever.
Hey,
You
don't
know,
you feel like we're gonna end up like our fathers talking about Bill Russell and
Yes,
like how he won all these championships and like he's the greatest player of all time. And then just years go by and years go by, and then it's like Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and it's like, oh well, he couldn't have played in this era, you know, and
right.
well,
like,
they're doing that now with Mahomes. It's like, oh well, you can't compare Mahomes and Brady. Brady,
right.
all the rules came out for Brady and stuff like this and that. Well, how do you think that?
I
You
think
Patriots fans can't think that.
you have to take every era like as a standalone thing. Like, no, it doesn't matter if he could play in this era. This is when he was born, and this is when he played, and he fucking won all these Super Bowl or whatever.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
it's
I
a
feel like Mahomes would have translated. Now, would he win as much as he's winning? I don't know. Would he be as healthy as he's been?
if you put Mahomes
Unlikely,
in
but
1960, he would fucking destroy. They wouldn't even know what he was doing.
yeah,
With
that's
that big oblong ball that they had back
You're
then,
like,
that
what are
looked
yeah,
like
you
a rugby
doing? This is
ball.
not football. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, hand the ball off.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Well, you know what's funny is you mentioned 1960s football with the tush push and the amount everybody's been running in the running quarterback. It is almost like they've gone back to the offenses from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
We're not exactly at the wing T area like we were, but
Well,
it's
I think
like
the tush push is almost trying to cheat the game.
I mean, it's basically that the quarterbacks are running it or handing it off. The passing for at least these two teams hasn't been as prolific as it has been in the past. These
I
are
don't
like
know. Something about
hand
trying
off,
to
I'm the
advance.
run it. It's
Right.
weird. It's weird, dude.
Trying to advance a player at the line of scrimmage is, to me, it feels a little cheesy. You know, like,
yeah.
we're all men. We're all
I,
grown men.
I
We don't
always
need to
thought
do
the
that.
rule was you could block defensive players. You couldn't like
Push.
help your own guy,
You
but
Yeah, you can
couldn't.
carry
apparently I
your
was wrong.
guy past the fucking goal
I know.
line.
You're literally
Now you
watching a
can.
guard like take Jalen Hurts by the pants and like throw him. It's
Yeah,
like
I've seen that
what
where
is
they
that?
like grab them by the waist and they like shotgun them over their shoulder.
Yeah, it's so
Like,
stupid. It's like, isn't
yeah,
that illegal?
I think
That
the
looks
competition
legal.
committee might take a look at that.
yeah. I only saw it called one time in my life. It was a Boston College game. I think they were playing Virginia. This was like 20 years ago. And there was a runner that was falling down. The offensive lineman grabbed him before he fell down and picked him up.
Yeah.
And they were like, "That's aiding, assisting the runner. You can't." There was an actual call for it.
There is. There
At
used to
one
be a
point,
call.
there was a call for it.
I mean,
Before the tush
that's
push,
what it
there was a
is.
call.
It's entirely assisting the runner. It's entirely assisting the runner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, when you see Jalen Hurts with 10 carries for 9 yards and 3 touchdowns, it's like,
and
Is this
100%
exciting?
conversion rate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is this exciting football? Is this what everyone's signed up to watch? I don't know. But hey, if it beats the Chiefs, I'll take it for one more game.
exactly. And that's what we'll be rooting for here.
Yeah.
So on that note, we'll wrap up for the week. We'll say goodbye to the 2024 season, and we'll be back to recap the Super Bowl and launch the free agency draft offseason outlook where the Patriots can actually win something.
Let's
Yeah.
fucking go, dude. Let's go. Let's get into this off season. Let's fix this fucking team. Let's get ourselves on the right track here, man. I'm all about it.
Very good.
Let's
All right,
go.
we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, guys. See ya.
Adios.